Hey guys, so today's video is going to be on my favorite drugstore foundations. I have had bad acne. I mean, not terrible acne, but I've had acne mainly on my cheeks, you know, occasionally on my forehead, my chin, but a lot all over my cheeks since I would say 6th, 7th grade, and I've been wearing foundation since 8th grade. I started in 7th grade, but that was just like you know, like little dabs of my mom's foundation, but I started buying my own foundation by the 8th grade, and I've been wearing it ever since, you know, switching from a bunch of different brands, trying out a bunch of different brands, which includes high-end and both low-end. When it comes to acne and your face, I really do think it's smart to invest in a good foundation, regardless of the price. I think, you know, having a really flawless looking skin, you know, not looking cakey, dry, like you're wearing too much foundation, too little foundation, having a foundation that makes your skin look amazing is like priceless to me. But of course, I would rather spend, you know, $10 as opposed to $50 on a foundation if I could, you know. So I've tried a lot of drugstore foundation, and I found that drugstore tends to compare to plenty of high-end foundations, especially the good high-end foundations, just because, you know, it has a $50 price tag to it doesn't mean it's going to be a good foundation. But as far as the better high-end foundations I've tried, I found that plenty of drugstore foundations do compare to them, if not better than them. I've tried among the high-end Chanel, I've tried Lancome, and I've tried, what is it called? Makeup Forever HD foundation. And I found Chanel I really liked. That was the most recent one I was using, but for the price tag of $60, I just didn't find it worth it. I mean, it's a nice foundation, but I used the Perfection Lumiere, and I also tried the Matte Lumiere. And the Perfection Lumiere gives you a great finish and everything, but I mean, it wasn't, you know, full coverage. It wasn't anything special that I couldn't find in a drugstore foundation. Same with Makeup Forever. It was a great foundation, but it wasn't something I couldn't find in a, you know, regular drugstore foundation. Oh, and I've tried MAC as well, and I have, you know, literally a dupe for MAC from the drugstore. So that being said, I'm going to get straight into the drugstore foundations that I find are amazing, look great, are definitely worth the price, you know, and they're not even that expensive. So the first one, which is the one I use the most, is the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Liquid Foundation. This stuff is fabulous. It looks so nice on your skin. Like my skin, and I mean, I have another bottle here because this one's almost finished, but it has kind of a dewy finish. It's not a matte finish, but it looks so like silky smooth on your face. I don't know how to describe it. The formula itself is really thin. It's kind of watery, and I buff it in with like a kabuki brush, and it just looks so good. It stays you know, on my face pretty much the whole day. Sometimes I put on a primer, sometimes I don't. I do have to set it with a powder just because my skin, I have a pretty oily T-zone. I have combination skin, you know, dry around the cheeks and stuff, but in my nose and forehead it gets pretty oily. So I put powder just, you know, around my nose and my forehead. And as long as I have powder on, I find the foundation doesn't, you know, look oily. It stays. It's not a matte foundation to start with, but it has this nice healthy matte, healthy dewy finish to it. Like my skin, I get so many compliments with it. It kind of looks like your own skin, as if like you got this like surgery to make your skin look really like silky and dewy and glowy. And it's one of the foundations I've been using the most. I don't have it on today, but I would say 4 out of the 7 days a week I use this foundation. The second foundation is the Revlon Color Stay foundation. This is a very popular foundation among the drugstores. It's very comparable to the MAC foundation, just because it's a bit of a thicker formula. It's full coverage, and it has a matte finish to it, and it's just a great foundation. I don't wear it as often just because it is a full coverage foundation, and I don't need so much coverage now. And it does look kind of, you can kind of tell you're wearing foundation, but it doesn't look like you have like this heavy foundation on. You don't really need a primer with it. It stays matte the whole day pretty much. I find that when I set it with a powder after I apply it, it almost makes my face look too matte. So a lot of times I won't set my face with a powder after I apply it. Very silky finish to it, similar to the Neutrogena, just not like that dewy finish. It's a matte finish. The nice thing about this is if you need a full coverage foundation, it will stay put on your skin literally the whole day. And sometimes what I'll do if I don't want such full coverage, you can kind of control how much product you want. If I'll dab a little bit of it on and like really buff it out, so it kind of shears out the product a bit so it's not such full coverage. But that's a great foundation, definitely comparable. I would say it's similar, the finish is similar if you've used the Makeup Forever HD foundation, or more I guess the other Makeup Forever foundation, the one in a tube like this. It has a similar finish to it. This product just isn't, this product is just a little bit thicker than it, but it's a great foundation, one of my favorites. The next foundation, this is one I recently got and I heard quite a bit about it. Like not an awful lot. It wasn't like this product I heard a ton about. Like so many beauty gurus were like raving about this when it came out, so that's what made me try it. And generally when I try products, it will be based off of like reviews I've read, or you know, like a hype people have been talking about it and I like, you know, want to test it out for myself. But sometimes I'll kind of just try something spontaneously, and this was one of them. Like I heard a few reviews about it that it was good, but I wanted to try it out for myself to really give myself a good review. It's the Maybelline New York Instant Age Rewind Eraser Treatment Makeup. It's kind of an interesting makeup as far as the application. You can't open it and apply it like as a tube or something, but and by the way, both of the Makeup Forever Neutrogena, the top is like you have to pour out the product. Anyways, it's literally like a sponge. If you've used when you're younger, they remind me of those like colored markers, like these. It looked exactly like these, but they had like ink in them, like different colors, and you would like paint with them. That's what it reminds me of. And when I use this, I literally feel like I'm like erasing off my acne. But the application, I really like it, but I find that if I were to apply it only like with this sponge and like buff it in, I would find that I would get too much product on my face. So I like applied with this, but then I spread it out with my own fingers, or you can use a brush, but fingers work best for me. The foundation itself, aside from the application I like. It's kind of convenient because I don't need brushes for it. I can do it quickly and stuff when I'm in a pinch and then rub it in real quick. But the finish of the product and the product itself, it's a thinner product. That's what I like. It feels very light on my face, but it gives me really nice coverage. And it's amazing. It reminds me of the Chanel foundation in the sense that I can build it, and even when I like put a second layer of this foundation on, it won't look like I'm wearing a ton of foundation. Like it barely will look like I'm wearing foundation. And same with the Chanel, you know, I could put light coverage and then I could add another layer to make it, you know, more medium, fuller coverage. It never gave me completely full coverage like this one does, but you know, I could, you know, add a couple of layers or 2 layers and it wouldn't look like I caked on foundation. So I love how it can give me full coverage if I want it, yet it will look so natural. I set it with a powder usually and it lasts me fine the whole day. I don't have to like touch it up or anything, which is nice, and I'm wearing it today. I'm not wearing it with a primer or anything, but I put it on, I think like in the morning, which was 6:30. And right now it is like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So obviously it stayed put, and I'm still gonna go out later with this same foundation. I'm not planning on touching it up. So this one I really like. It's a great foundation, and yeah, it's a newer one, and I think it's worth trying out. The last foundation, it's not a foundation, it's a BB cream. So kind of like a tinted moisturizer. It's the Maybelline New York Dream Fresh BB 8-in-1 Beauty Balm Skin Perfector. I have heard, you know, I don't know where these BB creams have come from. Like, I just used to know like foundation and tinted moisturizer. Like beyond that, all of a sudden there's these like CC cream, BB creams. So they're pretty new to me, so I wanted to try one out. They're kind of new to the, like, so they're new to a point where there's not like a bunch of reviews. There's not like a product that's been around for like 10 years that like is continuously like everyone's raving about. They're like kind of new, so everyone's still trying them out. And I wasn't planning on getting a BB cream, but I just started like college and waking up early in the morning and putting on like foundation and stuff because I do have acne and I don't want to go out like, you know, without some cover up. It can be kind of annoying sometimes, like putting on a face of foundation, which is why I've been loving this one because of the applicator. It makes it easier, but still sometimes I don't want, you know, such heavy coverage. I want something light, just like a tinted moisturizer. And this one, I like the BB cream, the concept that they have like primers and sunscreen and all these things in them. And it is a skin perfector. I haven't used it enough to be able to tell you guys whether or not it, you know, the skin perfecting benefits of it really work. But as far as the coverage, it's a very light coverage, but it has like, I don't know, it makes my skin glow. I don't know how to describe it. Here's some of the product. It has almost like a pinky undertone to it, which I don't know if it's just this shade specifically, but it makes my skin look really healthy. It makes it, you know, it doesn't get, it's like a, instead of a dewy finish, it's this luminescent finish to it. And I love how it's just like the perfect amount of coverage. It will, if you have like dark spots, like acne scars, it will cover that up. If you have like a big red zit, obviously it's not going to cover that up. You can use concealer for that, but it's a great product to just, you know, even out your skin tone, make it look really flawless. And one thing I was really surprised, which is why I put it in my favorites video of drugstore favorites, is for being a tinted moisturizer, it stays put literally the whole day. Like, I did not expect a tinted moisturizer to stay so stay so flawless, I guess, on my skin the whole day, because usually tinted moisturizers after, like, I would say like 5-6 hours, they start to kind of fade. You have to like reapply it or whatever. This one stays put, you know, like the whole day. So that was like really nice about it, which is why I would recommend this. So that's it. Those are the drugstore foundations that I think are worth the money. I think before you spend the money on a high-end product, you should definitely check out some drugstore foundations. And the nice thing, generally drugstores will let you buy the product, try it out. If you don't like it, they let you return it even if you've tried it out. Because a lot of times with high-end foundations, like, I'll get a sample, try that out, and then if I don't like it, I'll, I won't have to return the product. I just won't purchase it because I just use the sample. But because drugstores, they don't really give you a sample of the product. But yeah, since I've got, these drugstore foundations, I haven't really felt the need to buy these high-end products. I like trying on high-end products occasionally just because, they always have these, hypes about them and people rave about specific ones. But from my experience, I don't think, they're much better, or I don't think they're any better than some of these drugstore foundations. So, and I mean, if you think about it, it's like, how different can the formulas be? It's not like these high-end brands, exclusively use these, formulas that the drugstore brands can't use, making them less good. They all use the same formulas more or less. So yeah, if you guys like this video and you like more and you're interested in watching more beauty videos with beauty tips, then subscribe below or like this video, and thanks for watching, you guys.